built into our CRM is a learning management system. And so an LMS and having computer-based training or CBT is really important for scaling out a business to run efficiently. Being able to have a repository of information in the form of like a certification program or a training program where people can learn and go through these processes and learn how to do whatever it is, it creates that corporate knowledge. And it makes it so that if for whatever reason someone has to leave or someone leaves or something bad happens or whatever, that if someone is no longer there able to train or educate, then you can have them go through this training program and it's all automated and having that set up. And of course, in our system, it's directly integrated with the CRM.
Right.
But I would say having a learning management system for your employees is absolutely critical no matter what business you're in.
Hey everyone, today I had a chance to talk to Lars Helgeson, the founder and CEO of Greenrope and Complete CRM. In this episode, we talk about the critical aspects of running a successful business. Lars also shares his invaluable expertise on customer satisfaction, feedback management, and the importance of using the right tools, including CRM systems for managing marketing, sales, and customer service. Lars also shares the driving forces behind his entrepreneurial journey, emphasizing autonomy, lifestyle balance, and the vision to create a legacy that serves others. He also talks about the sacrifices and rewards of entrepreneurship and stresses the importance of building a transparent and trustworthy team. With over 25 years of experience, Lars discusses his company's growth, the role of automation and AI in business processes, and the challenges faced in scaling his business. For listeners eager to optimize their business operations and gain fresh insights from an industry veteran, this episode is a must listen. All right, welcome Lars to Master Delegator podcast. I'm so happy that you are here today. You know, we met on LinkedIn and I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my most favorite platforms when it comes to connecting with people. And the second one is actually Threads. So I'm not sure if you're on Threads yet, but if you are not yet, you need to be there because I'm enjoying it. And I actually met so many people already from there and they've been a guest on my podcast. And the connection is just, I think, better than LinkedIn, if I must say. It's just very refreshing. So get on there if you're not there yet. But anyway, I'm happy that you are here. I have so many questions about you and your business. And before we dive in, I want you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. And I will take that to heart about Threads. I haven't jumped into that yet. But yeah, I know it's definitely growing in popularity.
Yeah.
So my name is Lars Helgeson. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Greenrope. We also have another kind of a sister brand called Complete CRM that focuses on white labeling CRMs. And we've been in business for about 25 years. Our first venture was into email marketing. And then about 15 years ago, we did a little bit of a pivot and went towards CRM because we realized that the real business challenge that especially small business owners and leaders face is integrating information together and making it easy for sales, marketing, and customer service to all be able to share information and set up automation to work more efficiently. So we built our platform with that in mind and have sort of just scaled out over the last 15 years. And now we're global. We've got about 400 direct clients and about 1,000 more through our private label channel. So it's been a very steady growth. We've never taken on venture funding or private equity. So as a founder-led company, I've been doing this for a few years, since 2000. And it's definitely been an adventure. There's been a lot of lessons learned, a lot of mistakes made, but in the end, I feel really, really proud of our team and what we've been able to create and how we're able to help businesses of all kinds and nonprofits and government organizations of all kinds.
Wow, 25 years in business. That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you know what? You don't look like you've been in the business for 25 years because you look so happy and positive. You look young. I don't know how old you are, but you don't you don't strike me
thank
as somebody who's been in business for 25 years. Because if you think about being in business for 25 years, or if I think about it, I was like 25 years in business. If I was in business for 25 years, I probably have gray hair already,
Well, I certainly have gray hairs. I'm 52 now, but I've tried to create balance, and having a great team is a really important part of that. So, and of course, as you grow through, companies growing and economies changing and everything, there's always lessons that you learn about the people that you hire, and some people are good fits and some people aren't. And eventually, over time, I think you settle on the right team, the right people. And I'm really happy with the team that I have now, and they're all experienced professionals. We've been working together now, some for more than 15 years.
Wow.
And I think as a leader, it's our job to make sure that people feel safe, valued, comfortable in their work environment. And as a
Mhm.
fully remote company, it creates a little bit of a different challenge in how do you set a culture when you're not there all the time. You're not walking in the same door and standing around the same water cooler and in the same conference room physically. How do you create a culture? And I think an important part of that is making sure you have everyone involved, everyone feels like they're a part of the team and contributing.
Exactly. I love that. And I'm pretty sure, when you started your first business, I'm pretty sure you had so many challenges and struggles that you had to deal with, right? So I want to know about those struggles and how you were able to overcome them. And then after you answer that, I have more questions.
Yeah, I mean, I think every business is going to have its own set of different struggles. In my case, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't come from money.
Mm,
I had to bootstrap everything, and it's a very difficult way to start a business, especially in technology when there can be a lot of competition and trying to find the right people and all of that. So when I started, I taught myself how to code because I didn't want to be reliant on other people. And so I got out of the military and had to really just make it on my own. And so I sat down with some books and I was reading coding and I learned how to code. I mean, this is way back in the day. This is 99, 98, 99, 2000.
wow.
Um, and when we started, I gave the software away for free and got some feedback, and then used that to figure out how to make it better, and then started releasing it. And I mean, this is way back in the day of, the dot-com boom and bust and everything
Mm,
from, 2000, 2001. But fortunately, we settled on a pretty solid product, and through a lot of hard work and a lot of listening to other people, we built a pretty good email marketing platform. But we realized after doing it for a while that we could serve our customers better. And that's really what was the source behind the pivot to a CRM platform.
I love that. Every time I meet somebody and they say, I learned coding, because I didn't have the money to hire somebody yet, to help me, develop my app. And I was just kind of like mesmerized by it because coding is not easy.
It's not. It is
It's not
not. And
easy. So,
yeah. And there's a
yeah.
lot more to it than that. I mean, especially now, you really have to be concerned about security and
Mm,
data privacy and interoperability so that your data can interface with other systems. And there's a lot of complexity that goes into coding to make sure that it's safe and secure, and to make
mm,
sure that, and then you have to worry about performance, making sure that it executes quickly, because people notice if you click on something and it takes longer than, a second for something to happen, it's noticeable. So
right.
you
Yeah.
you have to be very cognizant of a lot of pieces that make the software work. It's not just a matter of I'm just going to put this on the screen and assume it's going to be fine because no matter what you put on the internet, someone is going to try and hack it, and
Mm-hmm.
someone is going to criticize it for the user interface and the user experience. And so it's a constant improvement on that front while making sure that you're trying to remain as performant and as fast as possible, and making sure that in above all that you have secure interfaces at every point so that your data is safe, because if you get hacked, it's extremely expensive for you and all of your customers.
Yeah, exactly. And especially nowadays, right? Like everything is online. Everybody seems to know everything online and they have something to compare something with, right? So if you are just now learning how to code and, you don't know the ins and outs of creating an app, especially when it comes to user experience, like when I go to a website, I always observe the user experience. I don't know what the term is, but how easy it is to navigate the website. And if it's not, I tend to just exit out of the website because it's taking my time to figure out how to go from one page to another. And so, were you one of the people who built Complete CRM?
Yes. So I wrote probably a good chunk of the code base. The Greenrope and Complete CRM are the same code base. It's just that Greenrope is sort of like an application of it where we use Complete CRM as the core, and then you can reskin it. So that's what our white label product is. It allows you to take our engine that we built for the CRM and the marketing automation and the customer service management, put your own skin over it, your own domains, your own logos, colors, design, everything, so that no one knows that it's actually our platform, and then resell it to your channel. And so that's
Right.
one of the things that we do, and the majority of our growth and our revenue comes from our partners, who are the ones that do that put their own label on our platform. Our vision is to create the technology so that our partners can then have the tools to go to their channel and sell it, market it, support it, add additional services for design or strategy or whatever, and have our system be there to support whatever it is that, if whether they're an agency or a consultancy or whatever they are. That ability to private label the platform is really the core of our growth.
I love that. And then back in the day when you were bootstrapping your first business, how did you make sure that you're able to live, while you're doing your business, right? Because you have to
Yeah,
make sure that you have enough income to pay your bills, your rent, and all that. So, and that is a real struggle for many entrepreneurs, right? So, how did you get by during that time?
for sure. It is really hard. I had saved up a little bit when I got out of the Air Force, but it wasn't a lot. And so I was in a really small, cheap, dirty apartment eating cheap food, mac and cheese and top ramen for about 2 or 3 years. Not going out, not doing things that cost money, just living as cheaply as I could live. And in that time, I had found a couple other people that were looking for programming work to be done. And again, this was early days of the internet. And so I did some coding. I was the sort of like a part-time CTO for another company that hired me to help them with a medical video application. And so I was doing that work, and that helped pay the bills while I was building the email marketing platform.
That makes sense. So, when you were in the Air Force, what were you doing there?
Oh,
Like,
nothing related to any of this. I worked in the space program. So,
okay,
so yeah, I
but
was on satellites. So
but it involves computer, right? So,
yeah, kind of. It was more mechanical engineering. I'm a mechanical engineer by education.
okay, I see. So, I mean, that's why you can code because you have the brain for it, all right?
Yeah.
For coding, like any kind
Yeah.
of engineering, it takes a lot
Mhm.
of brain cells to be able to do any type of engineering. So, yeah. And then you mentioned earlier that now that you have successfully grown your business, you were able to scale your business, and that's because you have a team behind you who's doing almost everything, right? And now you're like the CEO, like the visionary of the business. So this is you now. So if you can compare Lars, the Lars today, 2024, and the Lars 25 years ago, what's the big difference? What's the big difference, and what's the main lesson you've learned?
Oh gosh, I don't know if there's one main lesson. There's so many.
There's 1 million lessons, right?
Yeah, you
And
make
you
so
keep
much.
learning them.
Yeah, yeah. You try not to repeat the same mistake. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing. So one thing that we do is we eat our own dog food. So we use our own CRM and our own marketing automation to manage our own business, and it works great. And that's one of the things that because we use it every day for ourselves, we have a team of 16 people that we support almost 1,500 clients with. So you can't do that without a lot of automation. You can't do that with a lot of process control. And so one of the things that we really work with our customers on as part of the onboarding and training is to show them how they can analyze the way they do business and look at it, take the 30,000 foot view, think strategically about what it is that you do and how you sell and what do you sell and who do you sell it to, and then try to distill that down into something a little bit more tactical, more like what happens when your salesperson meets a person? What sort of automation processes can you put in place so that that process happens as smoothly and consistently as possible so that your brand is consistently positive, your salespeople are accountable, and then you're able to translate that into information that marketing can use so that marketing can then target those people. And of course, marketing and sales, they work together. You've got your vision of who you want to sell to, and
Right.
then through sales and through collecting data, you're going to always be evolving and looking at changing your targets or your messaging or whatever. But then as that progresses, you look at customer service and ticketing systems and chats. And then now with AI, being able to use chatbots and having AI assist with content generation for marketing, having AI assist with direct messages that your salespeople can use, it makes it a lot more efficient so that now you can scale even faster using AI as a way to leverage that. Of course, with AI, you have to be very careful. You can't just blindly trust it. AI makes a lot of mistakes. It says things that could be potentially offensive to some people. So you want to be very careful about that and never blindly trust AI to do anything. But if you can leverage those tools, then it allows you as a content generator, and a content generator doesn't necessarily mean a social media influencer. If you're writing an email newsletter or you're a salesperson, you're sending an email, you're generating content. If you're customer service and you're updating a support ticket, you have to generate the content that goes out. And so if you can assist with using a chatbot or using AI to help you generate that content, then that helps you be more efficient with your time and allows you to support more customers with fewer people, which of course means more profit or more ability for you to pay people that you have more because you're working more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that you use your own product, because why not? This is your own product. Why would you not use it? And if you're not using it, that means you don't believe in it. So I love that you're using it firsthand so that you know what types of improvements you can do even before a customer tells you about that specific improvement. So you were in the Air Force, you started a business, you learned how to code, you bootstrap your business, you had self-control, you didn't want to spend money on things that's not important during that time. And now you're successful. You have built softwares that helps people. So how did you learn about running a business? Like, did you have a mentor? Did you have a coach? Because it's not easy, right? Like, it's one thing to learn how to create a software, but it's another thing to build a business successfully. It's a different skill set.
Absolutely. And when I was in the Air Force, I got my MBA from the University of New Mexico as a way to educate myself on what I thought was going to be great for running a business. And I learned some good fundamentals there. But I think if I were to take what I learned from my MBA, I could probably, and actually what I used, I could probably distill it down to maybe a few, like a semester. So,
Mm,
but that's it. But the challenge with that, of course, is that there are so many different ways that you can run a business. It's hard for an MBA to be specifically targeted to exactly what you're going to do. Um, and back in those days, that was like 97 through 99, 2000. That was a lot of me it being in the early days of the internet, not having anyone that really could be a mentor because no one had really done much in the internet.
right. That makes
Now
sense.
there's a lot more going on. Software as a service is such a ubiquitous thing now. There are tons of people, but I never really had a mentor in my life, and so I had to make a lot of mistakes and learn things the
Mm,
hard. And I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to always say, "Are you going to learn this the easy way or the hard way?" And you can either listen to me or you can figure it out yourself. And for some reason, I was just one of those kids that always had to learn the hard way. So I've done that a lot with business. I've made my share of mistakes and try to learn from each of them. I gave a TED talk from, that it back, I think about 5 or 6 years ago now. That talked about I had my best friend at the time was my CFO and he had embezzled money from me. And so I learned that lesson.
oh,
Sure, you have stricter financial controls and more
mm,
visibility where your money is going and not to blindly trust people. Um, and that's just one of many lessons.
mm,
I had a CTO back, gosh, this is probably 15, 16 years ago that had made a pretty bad mistake on with our software and that ended up costing us a lot of money. And so, again, and that made me again really cautious about trusting people too blindly to have too much control without some amount of insight or oversight into what they're doing.
right. Wow. I'm pretty sure, you learned the hard way, but the lessons you learned were worth it. But I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure during that time you were experiencing these struggles with the CFO and with the CTO, it was probably very, very stressful. I could only imagine.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
still push through, you still have team members today. You still
Yeah.
learn how to trust people.
Are you sick and tired of being overwhelmed and afraid you'll never scale your business? Meet Smart VAs. Unlike many virtual assistant agencies that only assign one dedicated virtual assistant, we provide flexibility for growing businesses by assigning a team of experienced virtual assistants that can do different tasks to support your continuous growth. Visit smartvas.online to book a free discovery call and start growing your business.
What have you done differently to make sure that the people you're hiring are the people that you can trust?
Yeah, it's hard because people that are really good are good liars are going to be difficult to identify, right? And
Right.
so I've always tried to be as transparent as possible, and I don't want those experiences to make me cynical. On the
Mm,
other side of that, it's the term that a friend of mine uses is trust but verify. And so making sure that there are reports, making sure that give visibility into what people are doing,
mm,
uh, alerts that will tell you if something is happening that doesn't seem right. So we have a lot of that built into our CRM,
mm,
ways to check on certain things and, is something not adding up right or is something out of band, so you put these little alert tolerances in place. And so if you're constantly monitoring, you trust people. I don't have time to micromanage everybody. I have to
mhm,
trust people and what they do. But then you have reports that can go in and validate that certain things are happening the way we want them to. And so it's that trust but verify. The verify part is a lot easier if you can set up automated tools to help you and only tell you if things don't look like they're working the way they're supposed to.
right. I love that. I love that. I love that, because like what you said, you can't be cynical because of what you experience, and trust plays an important role when it comes to hiring team members. So it's a risk, really, no matter how much great your recruitment process is, no matter how tedious your interview questions are, you won't really know if somebody is the right fit without trying them. But it's important that you have precautions, sets in that are set in place to make sure that people are productive, people are working on their tasks accordingly. Especially nowadays, if you're working online, you can just say, hey, I worked for this stuff for 3 hours, but in reality they only worked on it for only 30 minutes, right? So I'm glad that you have something to monitor stuff like that. So tell me about how you delegate to your team members, because you have 16 people working for you right now. And I'm assuming, do you handle all of those 16 people, or do you have like a COO, like a manager that's handling those people?
I don't really, I mean, we're not that big enough to have a big hierarchy, and
Mm-hmm.
I like having a small team like that. I don't know that I would want to get much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because depending on what study you read, generally about 20 people is a big break point. Once you get over
Mm-hmm.
20 people, the culture of an organization changes a little bit and you need more hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a CTO now who helps manage the development effort. So that helps with the developers because looking over all the work that they do is so complex and would require so much familiarity with what they're working on. I literally just don't have the time.
Right.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so having a CTO helps with that. Um, with the customer service and the marketing teams, a lot of that is, we just, everyone, I don't know, it's not really self-policing because it's not like people are doing anything wrong. It's just
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of autonomy and a lot of trust in between the team members and what they work on. So, and same with sales. I mean, we have reports where we see, automated reports on chat performance, the number of chats, the feedback that we get from them, the surveys that we automatically send out to people. So we see those reports and we use those to learn from and improve on. But after the team's been together for as long as we have, there really isn't it's not really a concern. It's more about how can we make these finer tuned adjustments to make things a little more efficient or to help serve our customers better.
Right. I love that. And I know um I know you have different people for different skills, right? Or for different responsibilities. So, how do you delegate responsibilities to them? Like, how do you interact with them?
It's very demand dependent. So for the customer service, for example, we have to make sure we've got coverage 24/7 for our customers. And being primarily based here in the United States, we do have some people in Europe. Um, most of the majority of our team is in the United States, some in Europe, but there are some hours that we simply just can't cover because we don't have somebody there to cover. So we have someone in the Philippines that helps cover those as an outsourced, almost like a VA kind of person
Mm-hmm.
who assists with that. And I would much prefer to pay for that as opposed to just a straight AI chatbot because I know
Right.
the quality and the empathy of what she's going to respond with is going to be a lot more, just a lot more human. And so I'll delegate to them because based on the roles that need to get filled and the hours that need to get filled and I'm very much this is what we want in terms of requirements. This is what we want. How you want to do that, I'm going to give you a lot of freedom to do as
Mm-hmm.
soon as we accomplish that. So making sure our customers are happy, making sure that we are responsive to them, making sure that we have um, just we're able to process the feedback that we get from our customers and our leads too, to make sure that it's all getting in that it's all being handled properly in a way that our customers are happy. And because
Mm-hmm.
really what it comes down to, they have to be happy with us and what we offer to them, or
Yes.
else they're not going to pay us. So
Right. Yeah.
it's very important that drives so much of what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And, especially when it comes to customer service, you have a VA from the Philippines, right, who handles some hours of your customer service. How do you train them to know what to answer to your customers?
That's a good question. So built into our CRM is a learning management system. And so an LMS and having computer-based training, or CBT, is really important for scaling out a business, especially if you're small or busy, or it doesn't really matter what size you are. To run efficiently, being able to have a repository of information in the form of like a certification program or a training
Mhm.
program where people can learn and go through these processes and learn how to do whatever it is. It creates that corporate knowledge, and it makes it so that if for whatever reason someone has to leave, or someone leaves, or something bad happens, or whatever, that if someone is no longer there able to train or educate, then you can have them go through this training program, and it's all automated and having that set up. And of course, in our system, it's directly integrated with the CRM.
Right.
But
Mhm.
I would say having a learning management system for your employees is absolutely critical, no matter what business you're in.
Yeah, exactly. Having sort of like a knowledge base where your team members can type in, what they're looking for, and then, different answers to their queries will pop up. That's very helpful because you don't also want your team member to always ask you questions, right? Because you're doing a lot of things as well for the business. So I'm glad that you have that built in inside your software. So as we wrap up, um, you know, being in the business for 25 years, what advice can you give to people who are just starting out?
I would say, and I'm biased, of course, right? Because I'm in the CRM industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having a CRM is absolutely critical to a business. And it's not, and I'm not going to sell you on mine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as a business owner, you need to look at what you want your CRM to do. And by CRM, I mean a very broad interpretation of that term, because the relationships go from marketing, sales, and customer service. So you take that step back and you look at what you need your CRM to do. Write down your requirements. What sort of information are you going to store? How are you going to use it? What can you automate? And this is leadership stuff. This is the things that, as the business owner and the visionary, that you want the business. How do you want the business to run? Once you know those your requirements, then go out and look at a CRM. Don't even think about what platform you're going to use or what you want to use until you have your requirements down. And then go out and do a search, look at G2 Crowd, do a Google search, whatever, and look at some CRMs. Get a demo. Have them walk you through, present a problem to the person giving the demo and say, this is my business. This is what I want to do. Show me how I would do that in your platform. And then you should get a free trial. You should be able to play around with it. And if you like it, then you should be able to sign up and start using it. And hopefully they have enough support to walk you through that whole process, because that'll be an important thing too. So I would say, as a business owner, thinking through all of that is really critical to the success of your business. If you're going to be so product focused that you forget how you're going to sell and market and support what it is that you create, you're going to struggle. And having a good CRM is good to manage all of that. It sets a culture, it sets accountability, it creates efficiency through automation, and knowing what all that has to do before you get deep into software or a platform that doesn't serve your needs is going to save you a ton of headache later.
Right. Yeah. And I totally agree. Tools, whether it's a CRM tool or whatever platform, tools are kind of like the unsung heroes in our business, right? Sometimes we only look at people, but it's important that you have the right tools in place as well. I wouldn't be able to function, I won't be able to run my agency without the tools that are helping me run my business smoothly in terms of sales, marketing, and operations. So that was supposed to be my last question for you, but I just thought of something else.
Sure.
um, all right. What made you not give up in business? Because you've dealt with things, right? Things with your CFO, CTO, and it wasn't easy. What made you keep pushing through?
It's a, there's a couple things. I think one was the desire to retain the autonomy of my life and have a
Mm.
balanced lifestyle, and not work for someone. And I think everyone it depends what you're willing to tolerate. There's a lot of risk with that approach, and you have to be able to accept that risk and know that you can fail at any time, and that it could be very costly. And if you really fight not to fail, it can mean weeks on end of 60, 70, 80, 90-hour weeks
Mm.
to survive, which is what I've had to do. And so it's a combination, I think, of what you want out of your lifestyle combined with the vision of what you want to create. I wanted to create a legacy of building something that could help people, something that I could say.
Mm.
And again, this may be my ego, but I wanted to feel like in my lifetime I had accomplished something that I could look at and say that I was able to help people build their business, raise money for a nonprofit, and it's something that I can look back at, and I know like we've helped people get healthcare that never had access to healthcare. We've helped the American Cancer Society. We've helped uh,
Wow.
nonprofits, veterans. I mean, everything that we've done. We actually have a program where nonprofits can use our platform for free if they're registered 501(c)(3) or C6. So, and we've also helped businesses scale and grow and you have created fully functional businesses based on our platform where they're licensing our technology and they pay us a tiny fraction of what they actually make, which makes me feel good because I've been able to create a platform that not only helps
Mhm.
businesses but helps businesses that help businesses. So I think it's the combination of the selfish side of what I wanted out of my life and the freedom and the flexibility. um, I have a friend who said entrepreneurs have the luxury of working half days. They just choose which 12 hours of the day they work.
Yep.
Uh, so, and I'm sure as an entrepreneur yourself, you understand there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into that.
Oh
But
yeah.
on the other side of that, when you're directly responsible for your success or failure, it it has a different kind of a meaning when you do find that success. It feels a lot, it feels very rewarding after you sacrifice so much to build something of value.
Exactly. Yeah. When you know your purpose and your purpose is greater than your challenges, all
Hmm.
the stress that we deal with is worth it, right? Because you are doing something great for the not just for yourself, but for the people around you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So where can people find you online and take this time as well to promote your business, who you help with, who you serve, and your website or social media links, whatever.
Yeah, sure. So I am on LinkedIn, Lars Helgeson. I'm also the author of CRM for Dummies. So if you look up that book, you'll see me there. It's on Amazon. The website is greenrope.com or completecrm.com. Greenrope is the one that's direct. And then if you want to be a reseller, that's Complete CRM, a partner. And those programs they're pretty affordable. And then they're designed to help you scale out your business. So, yeah, so that's the main thing I'd say, and of course we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all those things, for the business, but the website really explains the most about what we do. So greenrope.com and completecrm.com would be the best place to go. And you can get a demo and it's no pressure. We're a low pressure organization. We're here to help. And if if it's not a good fit, that's okay.
Mhm. I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Lars. I really appreciate everything that you shared, your wisdom and your insights. I'm sure our listeners are gonna find it very valuable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kristy, for having me.